Hey, yo, Beef, is this Mike live, dog?
This episode is brought to you by our sponsors, Four Corner Brewing Company and Top 10 Records. Drink a beer locally and spin some tunes at the oldest record store in Texas.
What's going on, homies? Eric here with Beer Making Up Podcast, and we are live at Top 10 Records located in Oak Cliff, Dallas, Texas. I think that's what all the homies call it. But we are live here. We have very, very special episode. It's first episode of the new year. I think somebody's Alexa just turned on. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're live at Top 10. This episode is really cool because it's one of our first episodes of the year, and it's also our first episode where we are sponsored now by Four Corners Brewing Company. And February 6th, 2026, we will have a beer coming out. So if you are listening, yes, February 6th, we got a beer coming out. Other than that, let's get this episode on the road. Big Mexico, Huey, how are we, bro? How was the new year treating you?
It's going pretty great.
Yeah?
New job. Benefits.
Benefits, bro.
Benefits,
Right?
That matters, dude.
Porta potty dumps are not good.
No.
No, they hit different.
We poop on porcelain now.
Oh,
Which
my
is really
bad.
good,
Respect,
yeah,
though.
yeah.
Respect.
I went from porta potties to porcelain.
To nice porcelain?
Yeah.
Man, you know what
And
I
I
hate?
work in downtown,
You know
so-
what I hate? The porcelain that reflects on the ground.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Anyways, Joshua, how are we, dog? How are we doing today? I see you're on that jumpsuit, Nike Fresh Fit. Did you just come from Venezuela, or have you been here?
No, man, I'm doing good, man. Like, you didn't ask me how my new year went, but it went really good.
No, I was about to ask you that, but the Nike Fit was throwing me off, dog. It was
That's all you gotta know.
because it looked good, bro. It looked good. No Diddy.
I'm gonna wear this tomorrow too. No.
Hey, just
No.
make sure you wash it, dog.
For what?
I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
Anyways,
I got you.
what?
No, dude. Like, everything's been going good, man. New year, new me, like a hoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you. I see you letting the beard grow too. Respect.
I don't want it anymore. It's
Okay,
bothering
shave it
me.
off then. Yeah, it's not November anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, everything's been going good, man. I have also a new job. Like, I don't, my hands don't get dirty no more. I get computer dust. You know what I mean?
Oh, I heard about that.
I'm a keyboard warrior now. You know what I mean? That's what I do.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Are you on Reddit? I feel like you're on Reddit a lot at work.
My job has that site blocked. So
Okay, great.
Unfortunately,
That's what we need.
Yeah, I can do my phone though.
I will give you some good subreddits later. Anyways,
Yeah.
welcome, Jackie. This is your first time on a podcast?
Yes, that's correct.
Heck yeah. Okay. And you're a homie of the homies. First time we met, you were like, Lone Star? You guys are sponsored by Lone Star? We were like, no, we buy our own beer. But we would like to be. And you're like, hey, check this out. And then, yeah, now you're here today. How was your new year, though?
The rest is history. It's been great. I decided to do dry January, which is a first.
Uh-huh.
Luckily, the beer comes out next month.
Yes.
So I'll be prepared for that for sure.
So I'll give you a little insight about that. When we talked to Four Corners Brewery Company, Rob is cool. Rob was like, you sure you want this beer to release in January? And you're like, yeah, why not? What's so bad about January? New year, new me, new beer, right? And he's like, try January. I was like, oh. 2010, I was straight edge. I remember that. So I was like, got it. Yes, let's do February. So, yeah, February.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Now, our special guest of the night. And again, this is going to be a fun episode. I think so, right? And I'm speaking because it's going to be a good episode, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you go by Jankarlo or do you go by JK?
I mean, either one really, but most of the time when I introduce myself, I introduce myself by Jankarlo.
Okay.
And that's more or less when I made the transition into trying to put my writing out there. That's kind of what I'm trying to kind of go with now, just as the writing name, I guess. And really, it just sounds more legit and more professional, just to keep it 100.
It keeps it very suit and tie.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's more like a Dickies fit. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like that, yeah.
You know what I
Down
mean?
ass food for reals.
I like that.
We could do a sock check,
yeah.
bro, and I'm good. Trust me.
check food.
We could
Hey,
do a
sock
sock
check.
check, and I'm good, bro.
Sock check, bro. My shit. Are we doing sock checks, dog?
Hey, chill, I got ankle socks on.
For real? Dang, dog. You about to lose.
This
I'm
down
good.
as full,
I'm
bro.
good,
This
bro.
is
I'm
high.
good. Trust me.
Bro, I'm done. I'm done. We're done. The episode's done. He won, bro. He won. No, I'm just kidding.
The higher sock, the downer the fool.
Bro,
100%, bro.
For real, dog.
On
Damn,
a
bro.
healthier note, compression socks are really good for you.
They are. I heard about that, especially if you're diabetic or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
compression socks
Yeah.
actually help out your blood flow and stuff like that. So look into it. You know.
100%.
Now, Jankarlo, are you an author, writer, both? Are you a journalist? Who are you? Let the people know who you are and where you're from.
And well, first of all, I'm born and raised in Oak Cliff. You know, I'm a resident here too. I've pretty much lived here my whole life.
Okay.
I'm first generation as well. My parents came from Mexico. And funny story about that is I assumed everybody's parents are from Mexico. Like just I'm like, oh, you're Hispanic or you're Mexican. Yo, your parents are from Mexico. It wasn't until I got older that I started seeing people that were like third, fourth generation Texan, and I'm like, well, damn, I'm just not used to that. You know, like all my family is either here or in Mexico.
Okay.
You know, so I just thought that was kind of random.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as writing, I've always just, I guess I would always say that I'm a storyteller, and it just depends as to what kind of story I'm trying to tell.
Okay.
So originally, it all just started when I was a kid. Like when I was all throughout school, I was not the best student and behavior-wise.
Okay.
I always say, I always tell people I was the kid that was pushed to the side. I always had to be on my own desk because I wouldn't stop talking.
Okay.
You know, I was always like pushed to the side, like, man, he won't shut up. But my work was always on point. I was always passing.
Yeah.
They couldn't really tell me anything besides shut up, you know? So I just felt like, man, you know, you really can't. You know, they can't. They're not going to win that one against a little kid. But in all my English classes, I always did a lot better.
Okay.
Like for whatever, and even now I couldn't tell you. If I had to guess, I would say it's because I got into reading real heavily when I was a kid.
Okay.
Like, well, I don't know what it was about reading, but I remember I would be excited to go to the library to check out books.
That's dope.
And figure, you know, and just figure out what I'm gonna read next. But for the most part, when it came to writing, it wasn't something that I pursued until I got when I turned 30, I ate these mushrooms and I started tripping. And all I remember was during that trip, I heard this voice, and I still hear it now when I eat those shrooms. But it just kept telling me, it just kept saying like, "What's the point of being the best writer of your generation if all your work is just rotting in the corner of the room?"
Shit.
And then as I was hearing that, I was looking at the corner of my room where I had like my desk and all my journals, and I'm like, damn, my shit's just right there. Ain't no one ever read it. Like, ain't no one can tell me anything about what I wrote. So then that night I got on Twitter and I was like, hey, I'm going to release something on this day. I'm just going to do it for free. And if you want to download it, you know, download it. If not, don't. But I was still tripping at that time, you know. So then when I came back, I was like, damn, I really got to do that now, you know.
Like,
so
shit, what did I do?
Exactly, you know. But I followed through with it, you know. And that was kind of what got everything started, where I started telling people like, hey, I'm a writer. Like here, this is some stuff that I wrote. Read it, you know. Tell me what you think. Before that, it was just stuff that was in my journals, in my notebooks, stuff that I was just thinking of, and that's kind of where I made the transition to actually being like a writer. Okay. You know, and then on Instagram, where most of my presence is, originally I had a series that I would post called "Drugs Are Preferred, Not Required."
Yes.
So I don't know if y'all follow me or anything like that, but all of that just started as a joke. I was traveling to Mexico one time. It was the first time I had traveled back to where my mom is from as an adult. So I was going by myself. You know, it was an old experience in a new way because I've been to Mexico. I've been to Ocampo. I've been there as a kid a lot, but I hadn't gone in over a decade, and I was not with my parents. You know, so it was just like, all right, so I have to make this trip by myself. So as I was out there, you know, everybody goes through these thoughts of just life, you know. Yeah. And at that point, I'm just decided to write them down. Okay. And I wrote them, put them all on Instagram, you know, and this was after I had released the first few projects, but I always tell people, like, I don't write for the money or to make money. I write because I want people to read what I write. So when people downloaded, I thought it was cool that I got a bunch of downloads, but nobody was really telling me about, hey, bro, I like this, or hey, I like that. There were some people were, but I like it when people I don't know tell me that because your friends are going to more or less at least support you for the point part, you know? 100%, I like it when people I don't even know will say, hey, I like this, or this was real cool, or I read this. And I think that's the point of what I do, why I do what I do. Right. So when I wrote those Drugs Are Preferred and I posted them, that's when I started to get traction on, like, people were commenting, people were engaging. I'm like, okay, people like this, cool. So that's kind of what started me putting it on Instagram, just getting that. And then when I was getting more into writing, I'm like, man, I kind of want to work on different projects, see what else I can catch on social media. So I was having this conversation with two of my friends. I have two friends that I work out with, Chuck and Vic. Shout out to both of them. But we were having a workout session at one of my boys' crib, and I had mentioned something about, like, yeah, I have to pump gas, but I don't pump gas after nighttime. And then he's like, man, bro, that's a good one. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I got this, like, these like rules, like Zombie Land. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, they're like rules like zombie, like surviving Oak Cliff though. And I'm like, bro, that's so cool. I was like, I'm gonna have to steal that from you. And he's like, you can have it. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then I had that in my head. I'm like, man, what are some things that I would tell people not to do if you're in Oak Cliff? You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where everything started when it came to the tips and whatnot. But I didn't really post anything just because more or less off of insecurity, just to be honest. Because I'm like, man, I'm not sure, because it was very. I felt like it was very provocative in what I was saying, you know, like
very
especially
open, right?
Yeah, especially the stuff like when I'm talking about guns, you know, like the first line I say is like, Texas loves guns as much as it hates women, you know, and it's just like, yeah, you know, I mean, but it's true though. It's true, you know, like I mean, or at least by the laws that they pass, someone can come to that conclusion. You know what I'm saying?
It's a hard pill to swallow.
You know what I'm saying? But anyways, that's kind of where I was at with that, and it wasn't until the one I wrote for the fair. So when I wrote for the one for the fair, that one I felt was like, you know what, this one's playful enough, but it's serious enough because one of the things I always want to do, or my point in what I write, I want to educate and offend.
Okay.
Like I want you to be upset because of what I'm telling you, but I want you to learn something new because I'm telling you what this stuff is. So, you know, you can still be mad, but you know, you're still going to learn something at the end of the day. So then whenever I did that fair one, it was like one of those situations where you post it and then you forget about it, and then like my phone started blowing up. You know,
you put your phone down, you walk away, go do laundry real quick or something.
And it was just crazy because that was the first time people I never knew were just reposting, retweeting, commenting, just a lot of motion and a lot of traction. So, you know, I'm just kind of on a marketing tip. I was like, oh, people like this. I'm gonna keep this going. And I already had like about 5 or 6 already lined up. So then I just started posting them, and then the traction kept going and kept going. And everyone always asked me like, well, how do you get from that to like the zine? And I still try to think about it. And I have like a notebook where, you know, I write down ideas or whatever, and it goes like transition. It's like so I was trying to figure out how I can release something physical.
Okay.
And my first I decided, like, you know, let me do stickers. Everybody does stickers. Everybody gets stickers. Let me do that first. So I started with stickers, but then I'm like, man, it's not it for me. Like, I just feel like it's not.
It wasn't your motion.
Yeah, it was just, I feel like I was just doing it because everybody else was doing it. And nothing against the stickers. They did hit, but it was like, nah, I don't know. And then I don't know why, I just thought, man, let me just do it like a newspaper. So then I got online. I was like, who can print newspapers? And bro, the crazy part is I get my stuff printed overseas because they can do smaller quantities. Over here, you got to do like 500 or 1,000. And at that point, I was like, bro, I don't even know if people are going to read this. I don't want to invest that much in it.
It's a big old investment for 500 newspapers.
It is, you know, it is. So it was just like, it was just a lot at that time. So then I ended up doing it like on Canva, getting it all together, and then printing it all out. And I like and I have some right here. I can pass it around. I like the way that they came out. And
Is this one of the first ones?
That's the first one right there. There you go, bro. You can pass one to him. And I got both y'all one too afterwards for sure.
I remember this, bro, actually. And I want to say I reposted this.
The fair one, you know, that's the one that that's the one that everybody kind of got at first, you know, the one everyone reacted to the most because it was the first one. And that's kind of what got the ball rolling. But I try to make it as much as a newspaper as possible, from the crossword puzzles to the bag, to the horoscope, to the ads, to the obituary, just kind of a little bit of everything.
Right.
You know, so I just try to kind of keep it, and then also because of what's going on with everything, with, you know, as far as censorship, I do believe print is going to make a very strong resurgence.
Oh yeah.
And I just feel like doing this kind of puts me ahead of the curve where I already kind of have something going.
Bro, this is dope. I like how you did a crossword puzzle in the back. I just want to say that.
And it's all Dallas related too, bro. Like everything is Dallas related. Like everything is Dallas related on there. And even those Fox ads right there as well.
I was gonna say like a stolen dog.
Yeah, and then someone selling that stolen dog right underneath. You know, and it's a Frenchie, bro. And you know, unfortunately, people know how.
They do that. That's a big thing.
I agree with you when you said that print media is gonna make a big comeback. Number one, because there's so much fucking like misinformation out there. They made a whole program, like a whole separate app that verifies which, like, if the content that you're consuming is either biased or like middle ground. You know what I mean? They made a whole app for that. So that got me thinking, like, bro, what if like the old books have way more information than what we know. You know what I mean? Like, I guess for example, like rap music, they blemish a lot of stuff, right? So what if like the book, whatever they wrote, has way more like descriptive details? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, and I've always
it's a
heard
thought.
that phrase too, where they say, if you want to hide the truth, hide it in a book, because people won't find it in there.
This is the first time I heard that.
Yeah, I've heard it. I want to say on the Malcolm X movie, if I'm not mistaken. But I've heard it before. But I agree with you, man, as far as censorship. But I would take it a step further and say tracking. Like, people on social media, they're gonna start. Companies are gonna start tracking you for what you're saying, for what you're doing, for basically what you're thinking. And I just believe that print is gonna be a lot harder to censor, and then a lot harder to track.
Yeah.
And then I read a lot, so I try to read as much as I can. And I actually just got a e-reader. I don't know if y'all have ever gotten into e-readers, but I mean, I kind of felt like I'm cheating on books right now, just because I'm doing, like, the e-reader is just so convenient, man. It's like having the perfect side girl, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, man, you just, when you need it, she's there.
I wouldn't know, but
not.
okay.
Me neither. But yeah, I read this book called Bad Mexican, and basically it talks about the precursor to the Mexican Revolution, which, one, I find Mexican history interesting, just period, because when we were never taught it, and like I mentioned earlier, like, that's kind of where my roots are, even though I was born and raised here, like. Most of my family's over there. Yeah. But I like the history, and then also, even now with everything going on with immigration, I think it's crazy how Mexicans are like the target, especially in Texas, because I think Cheech Martin said this the best. He's like generations Mexican and Texan. He said, my mom didn't cross the border. The border crossed her. 100%. Because she was already in Texas, living when Mexico became Texas. So I think that's crazy that you have some people that come from that, that don't have really their roots in Mexico or Texas, are kind of like in the middle. But that book kind of talks about the precursor, and one of the things that they bring up is that how everybody was able to get news around was through newspapers. People had subscribers, they would pay a fee, and then they would use that money to invest into the newspaper to print, and they would just print out news that was basically talking about how the Mexicans at that time were being treated. They had like what is it called, Joe Crow, if I'm not mistaken, and then Jim Crow, and then they called it Juan Crow, because they were doing very similar things to Mexicans. And the derogatory term for us, or for Mexicans at that time, was peons. So they would refer to them, or to Mexicans, as peons at that time. So I just found all that interesting. But anyways, point being is that I like the fact that it kind of all correlated to newspapers, how that was able to kind of spread the word, and how that was able, it was harder for them to stop that. And not that that's why I started this. I started this, again, just as a way to put something physical out there, because when I was invited to do my first show, all I had was some of these tips printed out and framed up, and stickers. And I'm like, man, I feel like I want to do something more. I want to give people a little bit more. And then I ended up doing this. And I actually released it at a pop-up at Olmos. And then, so Volume 2 is going to be coming out this year as well. But in Volume 2, I'm going to add ads, and I'm going to add actual coupons. So I'm going to have local businesses, Pinky Summer, Olmos, Deli Me Mexico. They're all going to contribute a coupon, and it's going to be like old school, where I'm just going to put like the sheet in there, and you can just cut it up and go redeem it at the place, and do stuff like that. And then I'm also going to have ads as well. So there's going to be some local businesses that are going to do ads. So that's why I'm going to do 100 for free. And then possibly, if I get accepted into the Dallas Book Fair, I'm going to sell them there, and then try to do some more for free afterwards.
Bro, this is freaking cool.
That's
all I got to say. I'm speechless. No, I'm 100%, because, for one, I've never heard of anybody in the art scene in Dallas, right? And we talked, the Big Mexico and I, Huey, we talked about graffiti artists, for example, and we've been to a couple art shows and stuff like that. I've been to a couple graffiti shows, and I've never seen where they're like, hey, let's do a newspaper. So this is, off the top, bro, this is freaking cool.
Thank you.
And I'm not just saying that because we're live on the air, but this is really cool. And that's one of the things that I really like from you, is that you make it look like this is a journalist putting stuff out there, which I think you're a journalist to an extent.
Thank you.
That's what I think. And it's really, really cool to actually have and hold a physical copy and be like, bro, this is fucking cool. Because like I said, that crossword puzzle. And then what I like too, that you brought up earlier, and I'm bringing this up, it's like don't pump gas after dark, because it's true, because that's one of the rules I live by, right? I was born and raised in Oak Cliff as well, and one of the things was like you never pump gas at dark. Right, and if you do, like, you just have to. But it's like, bro, just make it home, wake up 30 minutes early, and then go pump gas. Like, F that, like, fuck all that shit.
I never go to the one off of the 7-Eleven off Clarendon and Hampton. That one got like 4 bodies in my livelihood, my lifetime. You know.
So I don't know.
By the Williams?
Zangmart.
No, it's right across the. Well, it used to be where that little Midway used to be.
Noe's house, almost.
Oh, fuck that one,
bro. When I was in middle school, my homeboy's big brother killed somebody there. He's serving life. Within the last 5 years, 2 people that I know through third parties, you know, they killed somebody too, and they're serving life too. At that same gas station, you know. Damn, bro, one time, one of my cousins called me and he's like, "Hey, my tire is low. Can you come pick me up?" And I was like, "Where are you at?" And he told me where. I was like, man,
nah, bro, I'm asleep right now.
I was like, at least go next door. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to go
across
there.
The street,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I go across the street. Like just don't go there.
Go to Bronco, bro. I'll
like,
meet you there.
Man,
I gotta take notes because I love going to the gas station at night.
You're crazy for that one. You're wild.
And I just went to the one on Sylvan, 7-Eleven on Sylvan, and my brother was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like,
a security guard just shot somebody there. Yeah,
that's what he said. There was a shooting recently.
Security guard got into an altercation with somebody and shot him, and dude passed away.
Around what time? So I can just avoid that time frame.
It was right at 11. I think I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, I go at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah,
11
no,
midnight.
it was around that time.
You go there at 4 in the morning and you think
3,
that's
4 in the
safer.
morning. Yeah.
That's girl logic for sure.
I've never felt until my brother said, "Hey, there was a shooting there." I was like, "Oh."
All the bicycles though pull up at like 5 and 6, so you're safe, 100%. They might whistle at you, but you're safe.
You can definitely get hit on. For
yeah,
sure,
you're gonna get hit on, but you'll be alright.
And don't even try to get any taquitos. They already got them. They're gone. They're gone.
They're gone.
Like,
The Laredo spot?
Yeah. All the breakfast burritos,
good?
They're pretty good. I'll tell you that. For gas station taquitos, like they're good.
The tacos are good.
They're good.
What time do they open?
They're like 24/7.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it gets packed around 5 or 6.
That's what I'm saying. 5 or 6 are gone. Yeah. If you go at like 7, they're gone.
I'm gonna have to camp out.
They're making them. Yeah.
Just go to QT, bro.
QT hot dogs at 6 in the morning. No, negative. No, never doing that in my life.
You go to QT and you click on that touchscreen menu. You order you a breakfast sandwich.
That's a little different. You're a man of class.
Hey, that pizza is fire up there.
It is.
That's a game changer right there, bro.
You like it crispy?
So like,
man, I think I've only ever had it. However, they prepare it right there. I was just surprised on how good the cheese was.
No.
Like,
So hear me out. So there's the food they put like in the little shelves that heat up.
Like grab and go.
Yes,
they call it grab and go.
There's a grab and go.
I'm a QT connoisseur.
Yes, there's a grab and go. But there's also, if you go to the other side, they actually have a QT kitchen. So you order what you want and they make it fresh and it's so fire. There's like a breakfast sandwich on like toasted bread. It's so fire.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in the kitchen there, but I know what you mean. Like I've seen it. I've just never. I try not even to go into the gas station, bro. I do contactless payment, everything, bro. Like I'm being serious, man. Like I joke around with people, but I try to read as much of like Dallas Observer, Dallas News, Dallas Weekly, Dallas Express. Like I try to read both sides. I try to read the conservative and I try to read the liberal. I try to get a little perspective on everything. But bro, I kid you not, every Monday I'm reading about like murders. I'm either reading about somebody that got killed or I'm reading about like someone that almost got killed or someone that got killed a week ago and they either have no lead or that they might have a lead. And it's just crazy, and I can tell you exactly what area it's at. It's all gonna be like South Dallas. Like every time I look at they gave me because they don't give you the exact address. They'll just say like the 2700 block. Yeah, and I'll go Google it on the Google Maps, and I'm like, yep, sounds about right. You know what I'm saying? That's why I stay out of those areas.
There's so much shit that goes on. It's like you don't even know. Like I think I was in the Balch Springs area, and that specific 7-Eleven that was down the street from the job that I had at the time, they were getting like videoed on Instagram and stuff like that for having one of those card readers on top of the card reader. There's so much stuff that you don't even know. Like there's so much stuff that goes on. Like, and there's nobody that'll talk about it. It's just like, oh, they get Instagram famous for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're getting all this bad negative stuff put on them, and it's like, who's doing this, right? But nobody talks about it. It's just kind of there. So there's a lot of that going on. besides the fact that people are also getting killed and people also getting shot at, and you know, there's just too much.
Yeah, I mean, there's crime everywhere. Dallas at one point was a murder capital of the country. I think it was the year before that Southside came out, the Big Tuck.
Yeah,
but yeah, bro, like I feel like people don't understand that. Like at one point, as bad as like they portrayed like Compton and all that gang violence in the 90s as like the peak of crime, in reality, like it was Dallas. Like it was a lot of I want to say like Jamaican immigrants at that time
in the 80s.
Yeah, in the 80s, and then also 90s too,
where they were talking about like how Dallas
crack
used to
houses
be.
and
Yeah, in South Dallas, and it all happened like around South Dallas, and it was Jamaicans and.
To my understanding, it was a lot of Jamaicans. There's a lot of Jamaicans, and like the big issue during the 80s too was like Oak Cliff was big on crime with a lot of Hispanics, right? So there was a whole Cholo movement in the 80s that people probably forgot about, where people were getting robbed for their cars. Like,
and there was a lot of gang violence at that time.
Gang violence like crazy. And you had cliques in every block kind of deal, like LA stuff, right? And it died out now. But like if you... Going back to the question, or not the question, but the statement you said, it was like a lot of Jamaicans in South Dallas. It was like South Dallas was majority black, right? Yeah. Oak Cliff, East Dallas, majority Hispanic, and all the whites were up north.
Even East Dallas, even growing up as a kid, like East Dallas used to be fucking hood. I remember we met with a homie, Board. Like first time when we met him, he got shot at because he was in the AutoZone on Ross. And you see this white boy, like, I always tell the story because it's fucking funny, but it's crazy too. But yeah, you just see, like, this is the first time where we used to do photography. Me and my homeboy, Artie, we used to do photography. We would just take pictures of graffiti all over Dallas. And, like, no matter how small or how big it was, we would just take pictures of graffiti. So on one of those days, that's when we met with Bort through Facebook, bro. Mm-hmm. This is like when Facebook was in its prime.
Was popping.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, you know, meet up here, you know, take the fucking bus route, whatever. So then we get off. And we're looking, and you see this white boy with a football running across the street. You hear ta-ta. And then you hear the bullets ricochet.
And it wasn't Tony Montana.
Nah. You hear the bullets ricochet on the fence. And you hear the ding, ding. Because you know how there's that car lot on Ross? You hear the ding, ding, ding. And then you see the white boy fucking running. And then like 5 minutes later, you see the cops pull up. And then they pull up to the Walgreens, and he was there. He was waiting for them. And then when we see him, he's talking to the cops. And then he like texts us. He's like, "Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm talking to the cops. I just got shot at."
Yeah, my cousin Solo, he's a tattoo artist, and he moved to Denver, but he was raised in the Grove. So when he comes to visit, he'll go cruise around Dallas, and he'll be like, "Damn, cuz I was telling my boy they used to sell ice right here, and then there's like this is not like a real nice fourplex, you know, like I was telling oh boy, you know, they'll be like so and so crackheads out here, and then they got like you know kids walking with their moms in their strollers and stuff." So it's just, you know, gentrification, you know, I think that's very interesting as well, because I just think that's another form of colonization. So I think overall it's just basically the same thing. They're just trying to make something that what it's not to appease people that are not from there.
The worst part about that, bro, personally, and like in my opinion, is just like when they look at you with a face that's like you don't belong here, and it's like, motherfucker, I've been here before you. You know what I mean? And then the second part is like, especially like with me and him, and I don't want to like sound like we're like these people, but like we're cultured to the extent that we know what they know, and they don't know that we know. So when we see them, and then we start talking about the shit that they're talking about, it fucking blows their mind when they see, and they're like, how do you know about that? Because we'll start speaking.
No, but we went to a brewery.
Yeah.
And we were sitting at the main bar, and we're just being super paisa about it. And you're just like, oh, I never tried this beer. Like, just trying to be funny about it. And then we start talking about hops and all this stuff. We were like, hey, let me try that. Let me try this. And we're trying it. We're talking beer talk. You know, like being beer snobs. Like, just nerds with glasses on, just talking about beer. And the dude behind the bar is like, you should try this beer. And he just starts giving us samples of just beers. And so we started drinking, like, oh, bro, this is like, this has this, and that. And he's like, yes, it does, because I made that beer. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. And it was like, it's a very sit-down, very high-class brewery. That's all I got to say. And so, you know, for two guys that walk in like that are brown and they look like they just came out of a job site, it's like, it looks a little different and weird and odd. And that's one thing I told Big Mexico Huey here was like, when we go into a brewery, like, we like to try out the beer, but we don't want to stand out. But it's just, we stand out. That's the whole thing. And I don't know what it is. It's like, we don't try to be nerds about it. We don't try to be cocky about it. It's just like, we step in and we're like, this beer sucks. Or this beer is really good. And then we talk about it, him and I, and that's one of the things. Like I said, we're like hipsters undercover. We're like really hipsters.
For me, it's coffee and food. Coffee, food, and then when it comes to like music and then art, like I studied a lot. It's funny because like I spent most of my time learning useless shit, in my opinion, when I could have been learning something, I guess, functional. But I know a lot about just stuff that like no one else really knows about, or they could, you know what I mean? I always try to have that it factor of like, oh, I know about that, and then someone in a real like obscure niche community, like I'll try to learn what they know, you know, even if it's just like the base. It's just kind of like a talking point into talking with anybody, and I've talked to so many people from different backgrounds, so many different interests, shit that you wouldn't think that I know what they know.
You don't know anything about cheese.
To an extent.
Saying that, we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.